Live from Oil City Stadium in Whiting, Indiana, Northwest Indiana Oilmen baseball is on the air. Tonight we're booming throughout the region on the Voice of the Region, AM 1230 WJOB, and available across the World Wide Web on Region Sports and JED TV and the Oilmen Facebook page. It's the Northwest Indiana Oilmen up against the Lake County Corn Dogs. I'm Brandon Vickery, glad to be joined by Andrew Mile. Let's start with the Oilmen, Andrew, a team that has been used to a flair for the dramatic here of late. They've within the last week, and all 5 home games have been one-run games.
Yeah, a great way to describe the Oilmen is resilient. Again, it was another comeback win last night for the team. They walked it off. That was here, trying to pick that out of my mind, but they've been a lot of really fun games here at Oil City, and the fans, they got to be checking their hairs after every game. So they got
a team, as you said, that's familiar with dramatic finishes here at Oil City Stadium. They were walked off twice in 3 days last week, and if this first-place team is looking for some revenge here at Oil City Stadium this week.
Not only that, but also finding a rhythm when they hit the road. They're 9-0 at home, but just 3-5 on the road, and you really see the differences in the numbers when you look at the home and road splits. Hopefully this is the day where the Corn Dogs can make that adjustment and have a nice road victory, but only time will tell.
In one of the games last week, the Corn Dogs had to go to the bullpen early, and Ryan Troxel had a long relief appearance in that game. Tonight he gets the ball for Justin Heisman.
Yeah, I like the move here. I mean, the Corn Dogs are playing 13 games in 13 days. It's a long stretch. You don't want to tire anyone out, get them injured in summer ball. But Troxel, he's been reliable out of the bullpen. We'll see how he does when he gets on the mound. He's a strike thrower, and he likes to work inside-out corners with a fastball and his breaking ball and a good changeup.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, our pregame show continues next. I'll get you the lineups, and we'll set the scene for another showdown between two teams that we expect to be in the race for the Midwest Collegiate League and make that the Northern League title until the end of the season. It's the Corn Dogs and the Oilmen, a new rivalry here in the Northern League, and we'll be back to see more about it as our pregame show continues next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Back at Oil City Stadium, the lineups are being introduced over the PA. That's my cue to give you the starting lineups for today's game, starting with the visitors from Lake County. Leading off and playing second base, Cal Curiel. Batting second and getting the start in right field, Brett Mathies. Mathies hitting second. Batting third and playing third, Scott Hansen. The cleanup hitter is left fielder Roman Kuntz. Stop Donovan Noble. Noble hitting fifth. Batting sixth and starting in center field, Jacob Ferry. Ferry hitting sixth. Batting seventh and playing first base, Donovan Nanfeld. Nanfeld hitting seventh. Batting eighth and starting behind the plate, Nicholas Johnstone. Johnstone hitting eighth. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Corn Dogs is designated hitter Danny Puplava. All that in back of Lake County right-hander Ryan Troxel. It's Troxel going for the Corn Dogs. Now here's the Oilmen starting lineup that the righty will be opposing. Leading off and playing center field, Chris Baker. Batting second and getting the start in left, Jason Hodges. Hodges hitting second. Batting third is shortstop Jack Zebig. Zebig hitting third. Batting cleanup is designated hitter Josh Mosley. Batting fifth in right field, Dom Curcio. Curcio hitting fifth. Batting sixth and playing third base, Joe Cosenza. Batting seventh and starting behind the plate, Colin Horniman. Horniman hitting seventh. Batting eighth is first baseman Nick Anderson. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Oilmen is second baseman Tyler Famakanen. All that in back of Northwest Indiana right-hander Frank Quinn. Taking the field defensively, and we are going to join the playing of our anthem here in just a moment. The umpires today, Chris Berkey is going to call balls and strikes, and Andrew Pappas will make the decisions on the base pass. So the Oilmen have been introduced. We will listen in live for the playing of the anthem, and then we will have one brief toss to our final break before the commencement of tonight's game. Let's toss it to tonight's national anthem. There you have the playing of tonight's national anthem. Well, it's Quinn against Troxel. It's the Oilmen against the Corn Dogs. And it's next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
We don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions. Answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back at Oil City Stadium, the final warm-up toss is being completed. The Oilmen are on the field defensively, and they're wearing their black uniforms with gold numbers on their backs. They've got the gold Oilman lettering across the front of the chest, the black cap, the gold Oilman logo on the front of the cap, and the white pants. The Corn Dogs set to take their first hacks of the day, and they'll do so wearing their blue uniforms with the white Corn Dog logo on the front of the uniform tops, white numbers on their backs. They've got the blue caps and the Corn Dog logo on the front of those caps. White pants for Lake County today with the blue socks and, in many cases, some blue shoes. The weather is hot and it is beautiful at the ballpark tonight. A little thirsty Thursday at Oil City Stadium. If you're in the area, come on down. We have a game time temperature tonight of 91 degrees. And the first pitch will be tossed out at 7:11 from Oilman right-hander Frank Quinn. Cal Curiel leads it off. Here's the first pitch of the day. It's swung on and missed, and we are underway at the count of no balls and 1 strike. Sunny day, beautiful day for baseball. Happy to have you with us on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. Quinn comes back here on Curiel, who's hitting .310, the leadoff hitter for Lake County. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Once again, Andrew, these two teams, no stranger to playing competitive contests with one another this season.
Yeah, 5 games against each other, and 3 of them have been decided by 2 runs or less. So that's a good percentage of games that are coming right towards the end of the game.
Quinn quickly ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Curiel. He delivers a pitch that's just inside, and the count goes to 1-2. Frank Quinn, the 6'7", 210-pound right-hander from St. Ambrose, teen product of Marist High School in Chicago. The native of Chicago comes back and delivers 1-2 to Curiel. This is in tight for a ball. Now we go even. Quinn, an 11.57 ERA in just 2 games so far this summer. His only decisional loss. This is his second start. A total of 4 2/3 innings of work. He has struck out 4 and walked 3. Quinn comes back 2-2 to Curiel. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. Weakly hit coming in from McCannon. Actually, it's the first baseman Anderson to field it. He feeds the covering Quinn, and out at first base on a close play is Curiel. Play goes 3-1, and that's the first out of the first inning.
You were talking about Quinn's numbers, and he's only made 2 appearances, but it happened, both of them were against these Corn Dogs.
Right.
One is a start and one is a relief appearance.
Yeah, he allowed 3 runs, 2 earned in 2/3 of an inning on June the 9th. And then back on May the 28th, 4 innings of work, 4 runs on 5 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 4 while taking the loss at Lake County. His ground ball to the right side. From McCannon gloves this one on a few bounces. He heaves it over to first base in time. 1 pitch, and Brett Mathias is retired for out number 2.
Yeah, hanging around the batting cages today before the game and listen to Justin Heisman address some of his players and say, today, guys, let's try to get our foot down a little bit earlier and try to catch these fastballs out in front instead of letting it get on us and do some weak contact. He just wants to see some adjustments from his offense on the fastball.
Scott Hansen standing in here, 2 outs and nobody on in the opening inning. Next first pitch here to Hansen is fouled at the plate, and the count 0-1.
So even right there, it just seemed as though Hansen was a little late on the fastball, and it was right down the middle, and he was still late on it, got the top of it, and right now Quinn's just firing a lot of strikes against the Corn Dogs.
There's a fastball with a good amount of run on it. Here comes the set and the 0-1 to Hansen. It's taken low and outside for a ball. He says his changeup is his best pitch. You can see that there's a significant difference between the fastball and the change, 10 to 12 mile an hour difference. His curve is a work in progress that he's working on over the course of this summer. 1-1 on Hansen. Here comes Quinn's pitch. Taken for a strike, and the count 1-2. Quinn did not see a lot of varsity action during his high school career. In fact, just 9 innings of work. But here comes the 1-2, swing and a miss. And that is strike 3. Back to that thought in a bit. 1-2-3 go the Corn Dogs in the opening inning. After a half, it's Lake County nothing. And the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back here at Oil City Stadium as we continue along, the Oilmen and the Lake County Corn Dogs set to get the bottom of the first inning underway as the Oilmen will send up the top of the order. No scoring for Lake County as they went 1-2-3 in the top of this inning. Now, let me tell you about Notre Dame FCU. Notre Dame FCU is your full-service, not-for-profit financial cooperative serving all of Lake County. They go where you go. Bank online, through a mobile app, or by phone. While others answer to stockholders, Notre Dame FCU answers to their members. Visit NotreDameFCU.com/member to become a member and receive $200 when you open a checking account. Insured by NCUA. Visit their website for full offer details. Please visit their website for more information on products and services. Once again, that's NotreDameFCU.com/member. As we move to the bottom of inning number one, Chris Baker will lead things off here for the Oilmen. A quick 1-2-3 for Frank Quinn, Andrew, at the top of this inning.
Yeah, he looked really good. It was really the fastball command, and that last one was a nasty changeup. It looked like the fastball until the last one just dropped right off the table. It made itself look like a ghost pitch.
Ryan Troxel takes the mound for Lake County. Talked about him with Brian Jennings, who coached him at one time during the summer. This is low for a ball, 1 ball, and no strikes. Troxel, a Northwest Indiana native. He is, in fact, a native of my current town of residence, Valparaiso, and attends Indiana Tech. He started his career at St. Xavier, the NAIA in Chicago, and then made his way to Indiana Tech, which is in Fort Wayne. This is high for a ball, 2 balls, and no strikes. Troxel has not allowed an earned run this season. 1-0 record. Here's a 2-0. This is taken on the outside edge for a strike. He has pitched 5 games, 10 2/3 innings of work, 15 strikeouts, 4 walks, and just 5 hits allowed. He pitched 4 2/3 innings of shutout ball against these Oilmen, yielding just 1 hit and walking none while striking out 6 as Baker takes strike 2 called. That came in a game where the starting pitcher didn't make it out of the first inning for Lake County last week on Thursday night, and he really picked up the slack. And now time called as Baker backs away and helped the Corn Dogs come back to, at one point, come all the way back and grab the lead in the game, but the Oilmen eventually bounced back and won the game in walk-off fashion on Thursday night. Here comes the 2-2 to Baker. It's a swing and a miss on a pitch downstairs. Baker runs it out down to first, and he's thrown out there for the first out of the inning. What impresses you, Andrew, about Ryan Troxel?
Well, I talked to Ryan about that appearance he had against the Oilmen. I said, what was really working for you? And he said, it's my changeup. He goes, I learned it over the year from a teammate at Indiana Tech, and I've been using it more. And he says, it's been a nice pitch to go to. And on top of that, he says, he came out of the windup to start the year. He's now simplified his approach. Now he's going to go out of the stretch. And he says he feels amazing. That's end I quote.
Hodges stands in. Here's a swing and a pop fly center field. Underneath it is Ferry, the right-handed center fielder, as his hat flies off and the wind makes the catch. And the wind may be a factor today, Andrew. We both witnessed batting practice earlier, and the balls are getting some extra carry, particularly out to left field today.
Yeah, even Cal Correal, who's known for his opposite field approach, was even turning on some and had him go right over that 320 sign by the big brick monster. And yeah, it's interesting because yesterday the wind was blowing in. Now it's more hitter-friendly today.
Here's the pitch to Z-Big. It's taken for ball 1. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. You can see Old Glory in center field is whipping in the wind out there. Here comes the 1-0 from Troxel, swinging a drive to left. This ball is shallow, and it's going to drop in there for a base hit. Kuntz to left. Completely lost the ball, and it's going to be a double for Zebig, a bloop double for Jack Zebig, as Kuntz, the left fielder, backed up on this ball, the warning track, and it fell into medium deep left field, and he still didn't even see it to go pick it up. The shortstop Noble had to go out and heave this ball back in after a bloop double by Zebig. The Oilmen have a man in scoring position.
Yeah, Zebig didn't hit that ball typically hard, but really with the wind carrying it out the left and the sun really playing a factor, it's going to be a nice double for Zebig, and maybe the luckiest double he's had.
Josh Mosley stands in next. Here's the first pitch to him, taken for a strike in the count 0-1. Bright sunny day, the shadows playing a factor right now. The mound is in the sun, but the plate is in the shade. At this hour, here comes the 0-1. This is low for a ball. It can be a little challenging as a hitter.
Yeah, it can be because your eyes are focused in on the light and then it goes dark. And when you only have a split second to make a decision, it can be tough when that baseball is changing colors and shade when it gets to you.
Mosley, the designated hitter tonight in the cleanup spot in the Oilman order. Driving a run. 2 outs and a man at second. Here comes the 1-1. Taken high for a ball. 2-1.
You saw a little bit of that action yesterday with the sun setting the way it is. There was a couple doubles hit in the first inning between the Panthers and the Corn Dogs where the left fielder really had no chance because of the way the sun was positioned, and just watch the baseball drop right in for doubles.
Here's the 2-1 to Mosley. Swing and a miss. The count evens out at 2-2.
I think that was a change up there. Mosley wasn't happy with himself. He immediately slapped his barrel into his hand and made a little grimace. And now he's got a battle in 2-2.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, Indiana Tech right-hander Ryan Troxel on the mound. Spent the last 2 years with Indiana Tech. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Mosley is out on strikes. The Oilmen don't score in the first. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on base. After 1, Oilmen nothing, Corn Dogs nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. Ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back we are, here for inning number 2. Brandon Vickery, Andrew Mild, happy to have you with us on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. Thanks for taking part of your Thursday night to hang out with us. And however you may have found us along the Broadcasting Network, we're happy to have you with us as we get set for the start of the bottom of inning number 2. Final few warm-up tosses being completed here by Frank Quinn, who, again, all of his work has come against the Corn Dogs so far this summer. And we will see if he can replicate a 1-2-3 first inning here as he faces the middle of the Corn Dog order in inning number 2.
Yeah, it's going to come down to if the Corn Dogs can catch up to that fastball with a little bit of run. It seems like they were a little confused on it and were reaching out of the strike zone, and because of that run, was able to get a few jam shots and then do some weak contact over to the right side.
And wants to someday become he's an accounting major, and he wants to become a CPA and work for a large firm perhaps someday. But again, he had just 9 innings of varsity his whole career at the high school level. Kind of a late developer. I think he might have an injury. Here comes the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. The count 0-1. And he started his college career at St. Xavier. I believe Rocco Masudo probably would have been the head coach there at that time. The Southland Vikings manager the last few years and now the general manager. But then he transferred from St. X to Indiana Tech. Pretty good athletic program out at Indiana Tech. Here comes the 0-1. This is taken outside for a ball. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. Good to be back. Thanks to Leo Staudaher for handling Oilman play-by-play for the last few nights. Job well done. Caught part of the end of the broadcast last night, and the Oilmen keeping the drama going with another walk-off win. Here's the 1-1. This is low and in for a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. They walk off and beat the Chicago American Giants by a 7-6 score. Matt Lolito last night, 14 strikeouts. He shatters Max Franklin's single-game Oilman strikeout record of 12 with the 14 American Giants struck out by Lolito last night. It's outside for a ball, 3-1. And the interesting part of the story, Andrew, is it happened to be his birthday as well.
Oh, really?
How about that?
Breaking records on your birthday. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and the Oilmen obviously have been around now. This is our 11th season, so it means something when you break a single-game record for the Oilmen. Here's the 3-1. This is sent to left. Back on it, Hodges. He's going to have to play this one off the brick monster with that ball carrying to left, and he guns it in. A good throw, and it holds the runner at first base. The throw ends up all the way back toward first base where it's picked up by Anderson. A rocket off the wall and left off the bat of Roman Kuntz, but a rocket of a throw comes in from Hodges to hold Kuntz to a single.
I like that hit from Roman Kuntz right there. He's known for his power, and instead of trying to pull it every time, he goes the opposite way, lets the wind take it out to left field to help that wall and give himself a hit and see if he can get something going for the Corn Dogs in the top of the second inning.
Donovan Noble standing in. Lead at first for Kuntz. Here comes the pitch on the way, taken low for a ball, 1-0. But the American Giants scored 4 in the 8th inning last night to take a 6-5 lead. Just more late inning drama here at Oil City Stadium. To Noble, swinging a ground ball to the left side, foul. And the count evens at 1-1. But Adam Enright said, our guys are tired of losing, so when we gave up the lead, it was just a collective refocus. Other comments from Adam last night as far as Lolito was concerned. He said his command of his off-speed was good early, and that kind of set the tone for him in last night's game. That was the 3rd walk-off win for the Oilmen in 5 home games here at Oil City Stadium this season. Here's a pickoff throw to first, not in time. And the most amazing thing is that all 5 Oilmen home games this year have been 1-run games. That speaks to the parity in the Northern League this season. If you come out and see an Oilman game, you're going to see a compelling contest, chances are. Here's the 1-1. Low and outside, wild pitch. Advancing to second safely is Kuntz. Kuntz to second after the wild pitch. Now a base hit could drive in the first run of the ball game.
You guys have had some fun. We've been having some fun out in Crown Point. Seeing a few comeback wins this season. But, yeah, a lot of the competition has been really fun to watch. Every team is almost about the same. It's just every person gets to play hero one night or the other.
Here's the 2-1. This is swung on and fouled in the count 2-2. The Corn Dogs lead the Northern League at 12-5. The Oilmen at 500 at 8-8. You have the Giants at the bottom and the Corn Dogs at the top. But in between there is a pack of 4 teams that are all about a game of each other right in the middle, all right around 500. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count here on Noble. And it's made for a tightly packed league, and not only are the standings tight, but the scores of the ball games themselves have been tight, which we haven't always seen in the past. Here's a smash down the left field line, foul, just foul. The count remains 2-2. So it's been fun to see that type of parity. The Oilmen, of course, walking off the Corn Dogs Thursday by a score of 9-8. And then Saturday by a 6-5 score in a very unforgettable finish here at Oil City Stadium.
Yeah, I don't think I fell asleep that night.
2-2. You were up thinking about it?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so was I. After the game, I was locked in. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And that is out number 1. Fired up. Celebratory.
Yeah, your adrenaline was up.
Yeah.
I was just imagining how close Noble was to making that play. And, like, if Noble has an arm that was a little bit longer by an inch, I think you'd at least be able to hit it off with the tip of his glove. But, man, that was an exciting game.
Jacob Ferry stands in not only to walk off with a win, which has become so commonplace over the last week. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss by Ferry in the count 0-1. But for Jake Ostrowski, his first at bat in several years. He hasn't regularly been a hitter since he was about 15 years old, and he's later in his college years now. And for him to step up and come through in that spot when he was forced into hitting duty, here comes the 0-1. Taken outside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. And had a great performance on the mound, was in on the hook for a tough luck loss. And he had a hit earlier in the game. He drew a walk. He really battled up there at the plate. And for him to line a base hit to win the game when he was forced into the lineup, really due to the Oilmen being short-handed on Saturday night, it was a pretty remarkable finish. Here comes the 2-2, or 1-1, I should say, outside 2-1. He told me after, Andrew, I was envisioning myself hitting a home run. He said he just waited on a fastball and got a hold of it. 2 balls and a strike here.
And there's a funny story about that too.
Yeah.
With Heisman and Noble before the play.
2-1, swinging a foul. Go ahead.
So Coach Heisman knew about Ostrowski and then saw him swing and thought to himself, there is just no way he's going to be able to pull a baseball. So that's why he shifted Noble up the middle. And sure enough, Ostrowski pulled it just where Noble had been before and dropped right in for the game-winning hit.
2-2 on Ferry here. That's why it's so valuable, coaches and players after the game, because sometimes they notice something that we perhaps didn't live, that a shift happened right before that. Here's a 2-2. This is low and in for a ball, 3-2. And the story just gets more and more compelling. He again, had 2 hits in the game. He had pitched a strong game as well. And Ostrowski, by the way, will pitch against the Corn Dogs tomorrow night at Legacy Fields in Crown Point. 3-2 here on Ferry. Taking his lead at second, Kuntz. Here's the payoff pitch. It's fouled away, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. And it will be Bryce Schaum for the Corn Dogs, the pitching matchup tomorrow night. 3-2 here. Another payoff upcoming to Ferry. The All-Star Game MVP a year ago right here at Oil City Stadium. Hitting .255. He's driven in 6. And he awaits the payoff from Quinn. This is taken for strike 3 called. Chris Berkey rings them up. It was in there. And back-to-back strikeouts for Quinn. Now 3 for the day, and that'll bring up Nanfeld.
Yeah, that's the good run there on the fastball from Quinn. He started off on the hip of Ferry and let it run right back in and front doored him and got the called 3rd strike. And this is going to set up a at-bat for Donovan Nanfeld. If he gets a hit, could score a run and could come back later.
Let's see if Nanfeld can come through, or let's see if Quinn can work out of this with nothing across. No score, second inning at Oil City Stadium. Here's the first pitch on the way, taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. Oilmen and Corn Dogs. We expect every matchup between these 2 teams this year to be compelling. This is already the 6th matchup between the 2 teams. The home team has won each of the first 5. This is high for a ball, with Lake County owning a 3-2 edge in the season series.
It's all been the home teams that are winning too.
Yeah. Oilmen trying to defend their home field again tonight. They've done it each of the last 2 matchups with the Corn Dogs. They're trying to extend the head-to-head winning streak to 3. Here's the 1-1. Inside for a ball, 2 balls and a strike.
Nanfeld had a very good last 7 days. He's batted a .444. He's really been having a really good month since we've gotten to June. He started off 0-4 for the season, but after that, been phenomenal.
2 balls and a strike on Nanfeld. Here's the pitch on the way. It's a crack foul right side. Count goes to 2-2.
That's what he likes to do. You see Nanfeld, and you think that he's going to be a guy that's going to try and pull the baseball every time. His power actually goes the opposite way into right center. So if he can put one over the head of Fama Cannon at second base, he could pick himself a double with the way that Baker's positioning into the pull side.
There's a gap between Baker and center and Curcio and right. Kind of an inviting gap. The wind blowing things more toward left today, however. Here's a 2-2. This is just low and in. The count goes full at 3-2.
It looked like the changeup. Good take.
Payoff pitch upcoming. 2 down in the inning. Runner at second. Kuntz, he's been there And watch the last two batters strike out. He's single and advanced to second on a wild pitch. And now the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. He was behind. 3 straight strikeouts from Quinn, and the inning ends. No runs, a hit, and 1 runner left on base. After an inning and a half, it remains Corn Dogs nothing, Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. Skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes! When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Back we are here at Oil City Stadium, coming up on June the
You hire certified electrician contractors.
night, sponsored by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union. Free tickets can be picked up at Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, located at 1200 119th Street, right here in Whiting. They can also be picked up at the Whiting-Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce or at the Mascot Hall of Fame. Free tickets for the ball game as we celebrate 4-6-3-9-4 night. It's the Whiting-Robertsdale area, and we know that night is always a fun and typically wild night at the ballpark, and it does fall on a Thirsty Thursday. If there's anything we know about the Whiting-Robertsdale crowd, it's that they enjoy Thirsty Thursday, and it's all sponsored by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union. Pick up your free tickets now, and we will see you a week from tonight for a 7:10 first pitch here at beautiful Oil City Stadium. We move on to the second inning. Dom Curcio leads things off for the Oilmen. He will face right-hander Ryan Troxel in a scoreless game. Bottom of inning number 2 set to commence. It swung on and bounced foul right side, and the count 0-1. Troxel, a former MCL Minutemen. He pitched for the Minutemen under Jack Murphy during the 2020 campaign when he went 1-4 and held make that a 642 earned run average. 33 2/3 innings of work. He walked 16 and struck out 28 over 6 starts. He delivers a strike, and it's 0-2 here. That was right in between his time at St. Xavier and then moving on and going to Indiana Tech. I think when Rocco Masuda was let go as the head coach at St. Xavier, they had a lot of players transfer out, and he was one of them. This is low and outside for a ball, 1-2.
The way I would describe Ryan Troxel is that he is a smart pitcher. He doesn't have that overpowering stuff, but he knows when to throw a certain pitch at a certain count and where to locate it. He's usually pinpoint accurate.
Here's the 1-2. Taken high for a ball, and we go to 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's the Corn Dog team that has shown it can pitch the baseball. Here's a 2-2. This is fouled. Part of that's roster makeup, but they're also getting some pretty good instruction from a former big league pitcher in Justin Heisman.
Yeah, Justin Heisman, who pitched with the Kansas City Royals, also spent time with the Twins and was drafted by the Rockies out of Ole Miss.
Here's the 2-2. Taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking is Curcio. That's out number 1. I think he may have been the saves leader at Ole Miss.
He was for a moment.
Yeah.
And then someone broke his record recently, but his argument was that he had more opportunities than Heisman.
Yes.
And I believe it places somewhere in the SEC all time.
Yeah. Justin Heisman. Enjoyed working with him for a few seasons. Those were during my my younger years with the Oilmen. This is low for a ball. I was fresh out of high school at that time, or in high school when I started working with him. He was always very, very kind. 2012 to 2014. 1 ball, no strikes. The count on Cosenza. He takes high for a ball, 2-0, but occasionally would ask him about some of the memories, like being drafted. And obviously the year where he reached the show with the big leagues, or in the big leagues with the Royals. This is outside for a ball, 3 balls and no strikes. brother also involved in baseball. Here's a 3-0. It's a strike, and the count 3-1.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube and find a game from the, I want to say late 90s or early 2000s, there's a game where Justin Bath behind his two brothers in a game against Mississippi State.
This is low for ball 4. Cosenza draws the walk, and Colin Horniman will bat next.
It was Jason and Josh and Justin.
Yeah.
Trying to think which one. I want to say it was Jason that played short, and Justin played third, and then the other brother played first base.
Runner on first, one away. I remember that Justin mentioned at one point, this is low for a ball, and dirt ball read on it. Cosenza is going to try to move up to second, and he's going to be safe. It's a wild pitch. Wild pitch allows Cosenza to move up 90 feet, and now a base hit could drive in a run for the Oilmen here in the second inning. But where Justin was mentioning one time when you came up professionally and eventually made it to the big leagues, there was some media training that kind of taught you how to answer questions without being kind of caught or burned by any media members. So he was very careful about his quotes, and he was very well trained in terms of saying all the right things for the post-game quotes. And at that time, the Oilmen we had two beat writers. The newspaper world was just different at that point. It was only a decade ago. Here's a strike. But for those early years, we had two beat writers, Dave Melton, who still comes out and covers the team from time to time, and Matt Dothat from the Post and the Times, respectively. They'd be here every night. So after the game, it'd be myself and the two writers kind of huddling around Justin for post-game quotes. Here's the 2-1. Taken for strike 2, and the count evens at 2-2. And I thought that was funny that he talked about the media training coming through professional baseball and making sure that you never said anything that could get you in any sort of trouble. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. It's out number 2.
Troxel's slider is really doing something wicked today. It's really snapping off like he wants it to and dropping it and getting away from these barrels. But not only is Justin a pitcher in the major leagues, you also have Kyle Hallberg, who's a pitching coach at South Suburban.
And he played in the league. He pitched for the Southland Vikings. This is swung on and fouled. Broadcasted games that he's pitched here in the league as Anderson fouls in the count 0-1.
The best part about having two pitchers is that neither of them can throw batting practice. They can't move in closer and throw it down the plate.
1 is swung on and lifted in the air. The catcher, Johnstone, is going to be called off by Nanfeld, and it falls between him, foul ball. Miscommunication there. No error will be charged, but the at-bat does extend for Anderson, the count 0-2. So they are not into throwing BP because they want to be hit hard. 0-2. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. And running it out down to first is Anderson. He's retired, and the inning ends. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Troxel, and he's now has 5 for the game through just 2 innings. We've played 2. It's Oilmen nothing, Corn Dogs nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications in your training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Hey, Oilman fans, it's time to tell you about Bark in the Park. That's right, an annual staple here at Oil City Stadium returns on Saturday, June the 25th. It's one of our favorite nights at the ballpark. It's bound to be a howling good time. A free doggy bandana giveaway for fans on Saturday, June the 25th. That's a 6:10 first pitch here at Oil City Stadium. Bark in the park. Bring your furry friend, and we will have a grand old time at the ballpark. And it'll be, again, Saturday, June the 25th, Bark in the Park. 9 days right here at Oil City Stadium. You can get your tickets now on NWIOilmen.com. Not much of a dog owner myself, but I do look forward to Bark in the Park as we get set to look forward to the third inning as well.
Yeah, it just became a nephew. A uncle to a mini golden doodle in the last couple of months.
Yeah, very good. Here is it'll be Johnstone, Paplava, and Curiel in this inning. I travel a lot. I don't think I could keep up with owning a dog. Always gone, working a lot of games.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean. I couldn't get a dog either, but I'm going to be the fun uncle that spoils them as much as I can and then hand them off back to my sister.
Yes, that
so
sounds
she can
like
deal with the problems.
Best of both worlds.
Exactly. Irritate her, spoil the dog.
Right.
I'm the favorite.
Right. Johnstone stands in here. Used to have a team in the league, the DuPage County Hounds, for many years, and I always thought that Bark in the Park should always be against the DuPage County Hounds. Here's a pitch taken low for a ball on the count 1-0. Either that or Elvis Night, which is also coming up later this season. Ain't nothing but a bunch of hound dogs. 1 ball, no strikes on Johnson. Here's the 1-0. This is swung on, lifted in the air. Back on it, Hodges. Pretty well hit. This is back, and it's going to clear the brick monster and left. It's a home run. It was just over that brick monster area. It may have been just to the right of the brick monster, and it's a home run to begin this third inning for Nicholas Johnstone as Lake County strikes first. The Corn Dogs lead the Oilmen 1-0.
Again, the jet stream really playing a factor there. Johnstone drove a ball pretty well earlier in this week against the American Giants in Chicago. That time he drove it, and the jet stream carried it over the wall. It's a good shot, and the Corn Dogs break the board first. And that's his first home run of the year.
Paplava standing in next. Not a ton of home runs at Oil City, but there will be some to left field tonight. Here's a swing and a miss in the count 0-1. Especially if you find the right place just to the right of that brick monster in left. No balls and a strike on Paplava. He is back from an injury. Here comes the 0-1. This is low and outside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lake County has taken the early lead with a solo home run to begin this third inning against Frank Quinn. Ball and 1 strike. It's nice to see some games out in Detroit the last few nights. Here's the 1-1 swing and a miss. While Leo had it for you here, I was at a 3-game series at Comerica Park. It was my 17th big league ballpark. 17 out of 30. And Andrew, you were mentioning to me before the game that you've been to quite a few as well.
Yeah, I'm currently halfway there. I am sitting at 15 with Minnesota being the most recent one from last season.
Yeah. Here comes the 1-2. This is taken low and in for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Paplava.
We talked about a good amount of them. We like Fenway.
Yeah.
Fenway's always a good one. I liked Comerica too.
Yeah, I thought it was underrated. I liked the area around it a lot better than maybe I thought I would, and it's a lot of fun. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch on the way. Taken outside. We go full at 3-2.
My favorite part about Comerica is that Little Caesars is such a big deal up in Detroit that they had it there, and Little Caesars is by far my favorite pizza joint.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, 3-2 on Paplava. Here comes the payoff pitch from Quinn. Right field, Curcio on the run, and it's going to be the second baseman, Fama Cannon, to slide for it. No catch. It's a base hit. Paplava headed for second. Here comes the throw to second, just late. Close play at second base as the throw came in. Paplava dove in headfirst safely at second. It's a bloop double for the designated hitter for Lake County, and the Corn Dogs have a runner at second base, leading it 1-0 here in the third.
It's good to see Paplava back in the lineup. He's been injured for quite some time, and told me yesterday he was ready to come back. He's going to DH tonight, and hopefully as the season goes forward, he can get his way back onto the infield and continue to work on his glove work.
But the Illich family owns Little Caesars as well as the Red Wings and the Tigers. And the grandson of the original Illich owner of the Tigers and the nephew of the current owner is on our baseball team at Valpo, Pat Illich. Here comes the pitch to Curiel. He shows bunt, takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
And don't the Pistons also play in Little Caesars Arena now, right? Because they closed the other one?
No longer the Palace of Auburn Hills. Saw Little Caesars Arena from the outside, kind of down being there at Comerica. And, of course, Comerica right next to Ford Field, the home of the Lions. Here comes the 0-1. Taken low and in for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. For those of us that love the game, this is what we do all summer long. I'm either here or I'm at a big league game.
That's what Roman Kuntz and Jake Ferry were telling me, that on Saturday, the Corn Dogs' first off day in some time, they're going to go up to Wrigley Field and watch the Cubs play the Braves.
I will see them there.
And they didn't mean to go together either, so it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, I'm not going with them either, but I'll be there. Here comes the 1-1. Taken low and outside for a ball, 2-1.
And on Monday, I'm going to the Blue Jays-White Sox game.
Yes.
So that's how I'll spend my off day.
2-1 on Curiel. There were about 3 seasons where I did 100% of the games here. 2 balls and 1 strike on Curiel, but the last couple of seasons, after being here a number of years, I've swing and a foul here. He makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes. I've been in and out a little bit as I hit up some road trips and check some ballparks off the list. And of course, the other 10 months out of the year, I'm busy with my duties at Valpo. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Curiel. I'll be in the bleachers. I haven't been in the bleachers in quite some time. I'll be in the bleachers on Saturday. 2-2 on Curiel. And time called as Curiel backs away. Cubs and Braves.
So you're a lot like me, where you tell people my summer home comes in the shape of a diamond.
That's right. 2-2. And then, college ball, of course, starts as early as February. Here's the 2-2. This is low and outside, wild pitch. Advancing to third safely is Puplava. The Corn Dogs are trying to add to the lead here in this third inning. They have a man at third with nobody out and full count on Curiel.
It's been a good battle by Cal Curiel. I've really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's delivered in some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Really liked him being plugged into the top of the order because he has the opposite field approach, and he'd be a tough out sometimes. He can battle as long as he can until he sees a good pitch, and he's some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch.
Some clutch situations this season, so he knows how to slow down the heart rate and deliver when he needs to.
3-2, full count pitch upcoming from